Today's topic is vitamins. So, vitamins is come under the unit number 6 in the nutrition subject. So, we will see about the what is vitamins. In this topic, we will see about the introduction of the vitamins. What are the general characteristics of each vitamins, general functions of vitamins, and the whole classification structure, that means different types of vitamins. After that, we will study about each and every individual vitamins, individual characteristics of particular vitamin, the dietary sources of particular one vitamin, what all are the mechanism of action of the vitamins, and the functions of the each particular vitamins. So first we will start with the introduction of the vitamin. So what is a vitamin? The word vitamin comes from the Latin word which is meaning vita, and that means the life. Okay, so vitamin is one of the Latin word. The word came from the Latin word, that is a vita, and the meaning of the vita, that means life. So by seeing the meaning of vitamin, you can clearly thought that vitamins are very essential for the life. Vitamins are organic components in the food that are needed in very small amounts for growth and for maintaining the good health. Okay, so vitamins are one of the organic compound in the food. Okay, whatever food we are eating, that food is rich of the nutrients like carbohydrate, fats, protein, vitamins and the minerals. So the vitamins are one of the organic compound. It is the organic material found in the food, and we require vitamins in very small amount. Okay, as we all know that vitamins are the micronutrient. Yes, there are two types of nutrients are there: macronutrient and the micronutrient. Okay, so macronutrients are carbohydrate, fats and protein, and the micro, the word suggests micro, that means small amount. Yes, so micronutrients are vitamins and the minerals. So as vitamins are come under the micronutrient, it is required in very small amount. It is required in very less amount, but the vitamins are very essential for the growth and the maintenance of the good life. Everybody must eat certain amount of vitamins to stay healthy. Okay, so a sufficient intake of vitamin is very necessary for the normal well-being. If the person is not taking vitamins, or if there is a deficiency of particular vitamin in the person's body, so that may leads to the various kind of diseases. Suppose if in the person there is a deficiency of vitamin B1, so deficiency of vitamin B1 will furtherly move to the deficiency, and that may leads to the beriberi disease. Okay, sufficient intake of the vitamins is very essential to have the normal healthy life. If person is not taking sufficient amount of vitamin, that may lead to the various kind of diseases. Vitamins are chemicals found in a very small amounts in a many different foods. Okay, so as compared to the macronutrients like carbohydrate, fat and proteins, so in the food the major portion is covered by the macronutrients. That means major portion of the food is carbohydrate, protein and fat rich, but a very small amount of portion is for the vitamins and the minerals. Okay, so vitamins are the chemical organic compound which is found in very small amount in many different foods. So especially vitamins are found in fruits and vegetables. Okay, so vitamins are there in very small amount in the different varieties of food, as well as vitamins are necessary in a smaller amount in the our body for proper growth and maintenance of the body. If there is a deficiency of particular vitamin, that may lead to the disease in your body. So sufficient intake of vitamin is very necessary for healthy lifestyle. Now, who has given the word vitamin? Yes, so the word vitamin was coined by Casimir Funk in year 1911. Okay, so this is the guy, this is the person who has discovered, who has given the name vitamins in year 1911. The term vitamin derives from the word vital amines. Okay, so if you do breakdown of this word, you can get two words. Yes, which is that vital and amine. This is the second word. Yes, so it is derived from the two words, that is a vital and amine, which means essential nitrogenous compound. Okay, so amine, that means the content which are having the nitrogenous compound in it. Okay, so vitamins is derived from the two word, the vital and the amine, and the meaning of vital amine, that means essential nitrogenous compound. Vital, that is essential. Vital, that means important or essential, and amine, that is a nitrogenous compound. Okay, so it is made up of a two word, vital amines. Vital, that means essential, amine, that means nitrogenous compounds. Vitamins not yielding energy but required for the various body processes. Okay, so compared to the macronutrients like carbohydrate, fats and protein, these nutrients are giving certain amount of energy to our body. But vitamins and minerals are not giving amount of energy in the body, but then also it is required for the various body processes. Okay, so like carbohydrate, fat and protein. So if you consume 1 gram of carbohydrate, you will get 4 kilocalorie. Consumption of 1 gram of fat will give you 9 kilocalorie. Consumption of protein will give you 4 kilocalorie of the energy. But vitamins are not giving certain amount of energy to our body, but then also it is required for carry out various kind of body functions in the body. Vitamins cannot be manufactured in the body. Okay, so the synthesis of the vitamin is not taking place in our body. So because vitamins are not produced in our body, we must take vitamins from the diet. Okay, we must eat food which is rich in a vitamins. So it is not synthesized in the body, that's why we should take it in our diet. They have to be supplied through the diet. So as I told you, it is not produced in our body. So compulsory we should take vitamins from the food. Now the characteristics of vitamin. So vitamins are required in a small quantities in the diet because they cannot be synthesized by the body. Okay, as we all know that we require vitamins in very small amount. Okay, so that's why we should take vitamins from the diet, because it is not produced in our body. We required in a small amount, in a small quantities from the diet. Why? Because it is not synthesized, it is not produced in the body. So to satisfy or to fulfill the daily requirement of the vitamin, we must have the diet which is rich in vitamins. Water soluble vitamins cannot be stored in a human tissue. Their excess is excreted with the urine. Okay, so there are two types of vitamins are there, water soluble and the fat soluble. So water soluble vitamins are not stored in the human tissue. They are absorbed in the human fluids like blood and lymph. Yes, so whatever body fluids are there in that particular body fluid, the water soluble vitamins are absorbed. Okay, and by the urination we are eliminating such nutrients. So water soluble vitamin is not stored in human tissue and it is absorbed in the water. So water soluble vitamins are absorbed in water, and by the urination we are excreting the water, yes, and the toxic material. So in the urine we are eliminating the water soluble vitamin as well. Significant amounts of fat soluble vitamins can be stored in adipose tissue and in the liver. Okay, so the word suggests fat soluble vitamins. So these are the vitamins which are absorbed or dissolved in the fat. Okay, so these soluble vitamins are absorbed in the fat. And where the fat is stored in adipose tissue. So along with the fat, these fat soluble vitamins are stored in the adipose tissue. Okay, so that's why it is known as a fat soluble vitamins, because these are the vitamins which are dissolved, which are absorbed in the fat, and with the fat, along with the fat, it is stored in the adipose tissue of our body. So clear everyone? Vitamins are required in a small quantities because it is not produced in our body. Water soluble vitamins are absorbed in the water and they are eliminated with the urination process, whereas the fat soluble vitamins are absorbed in the fat and along with the fat it is stored in the adipose tissue of the body. Next is synthetic vitamins are identical to natural vitamins. Okay, so here two terms are there, synthetic vitamins and the natural vitamins. So what is a synthetic vitamin? Synthetic vitamins are the artificial vitamins. Okay, it is artificial vitamins. Now what is artificial vitamins? Artificial vitamins came from, not from the food, it is came from the laboratories. Okay, so the experiment was done, and after the experiment, in the tablet form, in the powder form, some of the synthetic vitamins are come. So it is produced in laboratories and industry and in the research area. So it is produced in a such kind of place and then after it is come in a market for the selling. Okay, so these synthetic vitamins are come in the syrup form, in the powder form, in the tablets form. Okay, so whatever the synthetic vitamins are made up in the laboratories and in the research area, these synthetic vitamins are identical. They are so similar with the natural vitamins. Natural vitamins are that vitamins which are we are getting from the very natural source, that means we are getting from the food. So natural vitamins are we are getting from the foods. Okay, so that's why it is natural vitamins. So whatever vitamins are made up in a laboratories, in a research institute or in any kind of industries, those synthetic vitamins, those artificial vitamins are very similar to the natural vitamins. Once growth and development are completed, vitamins remain essential nutrient for the healthy maintenance of cells, tissue and the organs. Okay, so in a early stages when the baby is born, at that time vitamins and minerals are necessary for certain amount of growth and development in the body. But after the growth and development is completed, at the time of puberty, after the puberty ages, after the adolescent ages, when there is a retarded growth and development in the human beings, after that time vitamins are required for the maintenance of the cells, tissue and organs of the body. Now what is the functions of vitamins? So here in the slide they have shown the general functions of the vitamins. So vitamins are helpful for health and life of the body in the following respects. Okay, so first is they build up the resistance of the body against the disease. Okay, so certain vitamins are there which are necessary to boost our immunity systems. So they are providing resistance to our body from the foreign materials. So in that examples, we all know very well nowadays there is a corona pandemic is going on, and the doctors are giving suggestion to have the vitamin C rich food. Okay, so vitamin C is required to boost our immune system. Okay, so doctors are suggesting to have the juices of vitamin C food, having the lemons, having the oranges or the fruits which are rich in vitamin C. So why that is necessary to take the vitamin C in this pandemic? So because having adequate amount of vitamin C, it will lead to the strengthen our immunity system. So there is a less chance to getting infected by the coronavirus. Next is prevent and cure various diseases caused by deficiency. So if the person is not taking vitamin in a sufficient amount, that may lead to a certain kind of deficiency disease. Okay, so to prevent such kind of disease, the person must have the sufficient amount of vitamins. Suppose if there is a deficiency of vitamin A in the person, that may lead to the night blindness. Yes, if there is a deficiency of vitamin C, that may lead to the scurvy. So to prevent scurvy, to prevent the night blindness, the person must eat the sufficient amount of vitamins. So vitamin helping us to prevent and cure from the various kind of diseases. Moreover, the vitamin helps the digestion and utilization of mineral salts and carbohydrate in the body. Moreover, the vitamins are also required for the metabolism and the digestion process. So, vitamins are doing the digestion of the salts, mineral salts in the body, and it is also doing the digestion of the carbohydrate in our body. So, for the digestion of the carbohydrate and the mineral salts, our body requires vitamins. Vitamins stimulate and give strength to the digestive and the nervous system. Okay, so to strengthen the digestive system and the nervous system, our body require adequate amount of the vitamin, because it is stimulating, it is activating the digestive and the nervous system, and it is providing strength to these both systems. Vitamins help the health protection, because if there is a sufficient amount of vitamin in your body, it will help to fight against the various kind of infections. It will protect your body from the foreign materials like bacteria, viruses, fungi, yeast, protozoa. Okay, so for the prevention, for the resistance with such kind of foreign material, it is providing health protection to our body. Vitamins helps maintenance of proper health and the normal growth. So normal growth in the early stages of life, when the child is born, and after the growth period is completed, after that our body requires vitamins for the maintenance of the cells, tissue and the various organs. Next is a classification or types of vitamin. So you can see in this picture, here they have mentioned two types of vitamin. First is a fat soluble vitamins and another one is a water soluble vitamins. Okay, so in the fat soluble vitamins, vitamin A, vitamin K, vitamin E and vitamin D. So these four are fat soluble vitamins. Now come to the water soluble vitamins. So in the water soluble vitamins, there are two types of vitamins are there. Vitamin B and vitamin C. Okay, so here is a vitamin C and these all are other types of vitamin B. Okay, so there are total 8 types of vitamin B are there. So there are two types of vitamins, fat soluble vitamins and the water soluble vitamins. We will see in the detail first. So classification of vitamins. On the basis of their solubility, vitamins are mainly two types. So based on the solubility. So those vitamins which are soluble in fats, they are known as fat soluble vitamins. The vitamins which are soluble in the water, they are known as water soluble vitamins. So based on the solubility, it is divided into two types, that is water soluble vitamins and the fat soluble vitamins. So first we will see about what is the fat soluble vitamins. So fat soluble vitamins, these are the vitamins that dissolve in the fat. Because fat is easily stored on our body, fat soluble vitamins can be stored within our fat. This means they can accumulate and can be saved for later use. Okay, so fat soluble vitamins, that means vitamin which are dissolved in the fat, they are absorbed in the fat, and fat is one of the nutrient which is stored in our body. If there is an excessive amount of fat is there, that are being stored in the adipose tissue of our body. So with that fat particles, these fat soluble vitamins are also stored in our body, and whenever our body requires that particular vitamin, fat soluble vitamin, at that time we are using that fat soluble vitamin from the storage area. Okay, so they can accumulate and can be saved for the later use. So the examples of fat soluble vitamins are the four, like the fat soluble vitamins are vitamin A, D, E and K. So these four are the fat soluble vitamins: vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E and vitamin K. Now what is a water soluble vitamins? So vitamins that dissolve in the water. Okay, whichever vitamins are there, they are able to dissolve or absorb in the water, they are known as water soluble vitamins. Because our body is a watery environment, these vitamins can move through our body pretty easily and they can also be flushed out by the kidneys. As we all know that our human body is having the major amount or major portion of the water. Yes, 60% of our body weight is just because of the water in our body. So there it is, our body is having the so much of the watery environment. There are various kind of body fluids are there, and these water soluble vitamins are moved with the body fluid, because in the circulatory system the body fluid are move all day. Yes, so with the vitamins are dissolved in the water, that water is moving easily in the body. So along with the water, along with the fluid of our body, these water soluble vitamins are also move easily in our body, and moreover they can be flushed out by the kidneys. Okay, so as we have discussed, the excessive amount or the excretion of this water soluble vitamin is occur via the urination by the kidneys. So there are two types of water soluble vitamins, like vitamin B complex and vitamin C. There are two types of water soluble vitamins, vitamin B and vitamin C. There are 8 vitamin B. So okay, there are a total 8 types of vitamin B. Which all are they? Like vitamin B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B7, B9 and B12. So these all are the 8 types of vitamin B. So water soluble vitamin is divided into the two types, that is vitamin B and vitamin C, and vitamin C is furtherly divided into the 8 types. So for the easy understanding, here is a diagram of the classification of the vitamins. So the first is the water soluble vitamins and the fat soluble vitamins. Okay, so water soluble vitamins are divided into the two types, that is non-B complex vitamins and the B complex vitamins. So non-B complex vitamin is one type, that is vitamin C ascorbic acids, And vitamin B complex is divided into the three types. There is energy releasing, hematopoietic, and the others. So energy releasing, that means these all are the types of vitamin B that are giving certain amount of energy, or we can say the stamina to our body. The next one is a hematopoietic, that means these types of vitamin B are there in the circulatory system, that means in the blood, and the others. So the energy releasing vitamins are vitamin B1, thiamine, vitamin B2 that is known as a riboflavin, vitamin B3 that is known as a niacin, vitamin B7 is known as a biotin, and vitamin B5 that is known as a pantothenic acids. So these 5 are the energy releasing vitamin B complex. Now the next one is a hematopoietic. So in that two types are there. Vitamin B9 is known as a folic acid, folate, and vitamin B12 that is known as a cyanocobalamin. And in the other type, that is the vitamin B6, and vitamin B6 is known as three names, that is pyridoxine, pyridoxal, and pyridoxamine. Okay, and the next type is fat soluble vitamins. So there are 4 types of fat soluble vitamins, that are vitamin A, which is known as a retinol or beta carotenes. Vitamin D is known as a cholecalciferols, vitamin K as a phylloquinones and menaquinones, and vitamin E as a tocopherol. So this is the classification of the vitamins. 2 types are there, water soluble and the fat soluble. Water soluble is furtherly divided into 2 types, non B complex vitamins and the B complex vitamins. Under the non B complex vitamin, there is one type, that is vitamin C, ascorbic acid, and the B complex vitamin is furtherly divided into 3 types, that is the energy releasing vitamins, hematopoietic vitamins, and the others. In the energy releasing vitamin B, there are 5 types. In the hematopoietic vitamins, there are 2 types, and the others are having the 1 type, that is vitamin B6. So whatever we have shown in the previous slide, same like that, the 2 types of vitamin, water soluble vitamins and the fat soluble vitamins. Okay, so here are the vitamins like vitamin C, that is the ascorbic acid, it is come under the non B complex vitamin. And after that, vitamin B1, the another name of B1 is a thiamine, vitamin B2 that is a riboflavin, vitamin B3 that is a niacin, vitamin B5 that is a pantothenic acid, vitamin B6 as a pyridoxine, B7 as a biotin, B9 as a folate, and vitamin B12 as a cyanocobalamin. And the fat soluble vitamins, that is the vitamin A known as a retinol, D known as a calciferol, E that is known as a tocopherols, and K is known as a phylloquinones. So you need to, there is importance to remember these names like ascorbic acid, riboflavin, thiamine, niacin, pantothenic acid. So these names to be remembered is very important. Sometime in the exam it may ask as a 1 mark question about the names of the vitamins. Next, here is the difference between the water soluble and the fat soluble vitamins. So here they have given the criteria of the differentiation. First is the absorption, transportation, storage, excretion, toxicity, and the requirement. And here is the first one, water soluble vitamins and the fat soluble vitamins. So the water soluble vitamins are absorbed directly in the blood. Okay, so as we all know that water soluble vitamins are absorbed in the body fluids, especially in the blood. So these vitamins are absorbed directly into the blood, and the fat soluble vitamins are absorbed via lymph, via CM. Next one is a transportation. So water soluble vitamins are able to transport freely because they are dissolved in the water, in the fluid, and fluid is circulating in our body very freely. So because of the fluid, that it will become freely transport in our body. and the fat soluble vitamins require carrier. Okay, so fat soluble vitamins are not dissolved in the water, so because they are not able to transport easily, and for the transportation they require one kind of carrier. Next one is the storage. So water soluble vitamins are circulate freely. Okay, so there is no particular storage of water soluble vitamins in the body, so they are moving around the body with the body fluids. But the fat soluble vitamins are stored with the fat in the cells. So fat soluble vitamins are stored in the adipose tissue along with the fat particles. Now the excretion of the vitamins. So water soluble vitamins are excreted in the urine. Okay, so it is dissolved in the water and excessive water is eliminated by the body via urination process. So these vitamins are absorbed in the water, so by the urination by the kidney it is eliminated by the body. And the fat soluble vitamins are not eliminated by the body, it is stored in our body along with the fat particles, and whenever our body requires that particular fat soluble vitamins, we are taking from the storage site. Now the toxicity. So water soluble vitamins having the toxicity possible with the supplements. Okay, and the fat soluble vitamins are having the toxicity likely with the supplements. Next one is the requirement of the vitamins. So water soluble vitamins are required every 2 to 3 days because they are excreted by the body. So because of that reason we require in on a frequent intervals in a 2 to 3 days. But the fat soluble vitamins are stored in the body with the fat particles. So fat soluble vitamins are required not on a daily basis. Every week we require the fat soluble vitamins. So this is the difference between water soluble and the fat soluble vitamins. So firstly we will start first with the fat soluble vitamins. So there are 4 types of fat soluble vitamins, that is vitamin A, D, E and K. And first we will start with the vitamin A. So what is vitamin A? Vitamin A is a group of unsaturated nutritional organic compound that includes retinol, retinal and retinoic acid and several provitamin A, that is a carotenoids, among which beta carotene is most important. Okay, so vitamin A is a group of organic compounds. Which type of organic compound? They are unsaturated nutritional organic compounds, and there are various forms of vitamin A present like retinol, retinal, retinoic acids, and moreover there is also availability of the provitamin A, and provitamin A is known as a carotenoids. And among the carotenoids, among the provitamin A, beta carotene is very important for our body. Its active form is present only in the animal tissue. So this beta carotene is only present in the animal tissue. In the tissue of the animal it is there in the active form, other all there will be a present in a inactive form. Vitamin A content of food used to be expressed in the international units. So whenever you will see the vitamin A, you will calculate vitamin A or say in the international units. Like the childrens nowadays are giving the immunization of vitamin A. So the vitamin A immunization given to the children who are having age up to 1 to 6 years. So when the children is reaching to the 1 year of age, at that period of time 1 lakh international unit immunization of the vitamin A is given to the child. After the 1 year of age, the immunization of 2 lakhs international unit of vitamin A is given to the child up to the 6 years at 6 months of the intervals. So vitamin A is termed, or the unit of vitamin A is the international units. Now the daily requirements of the vitamin A. So how much the person should have the vitamin A in their day-to-day life. So adult men and women should take 600 microgram of the vitamin A. The mother or the woman who is pregnant or having the lactation period should take 950 micrograms of the vitamin A. The infant, that means a child having age of 1 month to 1 year, should take 350 microgram of the vitamin A, and the children's after the infancy period should take 600 microgram of the vitamin A. So this is the normal daily requirement of the vitamin A in the different age groups. Here in the picture you can see the structure, organic compound structure of the retinol, then retinal, retinoic acids and the beta carotene. So this is the chemical structure of the vitamin A. Now, vitamin A can be obtained from either animal or the vegetable source. So, the sources of vitamin A is from the vegetarian food and from the non-vegetarian food. That means we are getting vitamin A from the plant source and from the animal source. So, here they have given like which substance of the vitamin A we are getting from which source. So first one is animal source. So from the animal source we are getting retinol and the dihydroretinol, that is known as a retinol. Yes, so if we are having the non-vegetarian diet from the animal source, we are getting two forms of vitamin A, that is the retinol and the dihydroretinol, that is known as a retinol. Next, the vegetable form. So from the vegetarian sources we are getting the carotene, and there are four types of carotene are there: alpha carotene, beta carotene, gamma carotene and the cryptocarotene. Among all these four types, this beta carotene is very essential for the body. So vitamin A we are getting from the two source, animal and the plant source. We can say the vegetable source. From the animal source we are getting two form of vitamin A, that is the retinol and dihydroretinol, and from the plant source, from the vegetable source we are getting four types or four types of the vitamin A, that is alpha carotene, beta carotene, gamma carotene and cryptocarotene. Now the dietary sources of vitamin A. So the primarily natural source of vitamin A, here they have given the category wise from the animal products and from the plant products. So liver, egg yolk and dairy products. So these all are the animal or we can say the non-vegetarian sources. So from the liver, from the eggs and from having the different kind of milk and milk products, we will get the adequate amount of vitamin A. From the plant products like orange, red color fruits and vegetables and green leafy vegetables are a rich source of vitamin A. So orange and red color fruits are including pomegranate, oranges, carrots. Okay, these all are the beetroot. So from the red and orange color fruits and vegetables we are getting the carotene or we can say vitamin A. Now the beta carotene source. So beta carotene source is generally we are having from the vegetarian or we can say the plant source. Okay, so beta carotene is finding in the papaya, in the capsicum, spinach, from the apricot, pumpkin, tomatoes, mango, eggs, broccoli, carrots, melons and the liver. Okay, so you can see the we have seen in the previous slide like vitamin A we are getting from the food which are in a red or in the orange color. So you can differentiate like this is also orange colored one, this is also orange color, the pumpkin is also orange color, tomato is red color, mango orange color. Yes, carrots are red or orange color and the musk melons are also orange color. So these all are the orange color fruit products from what we are getting the beta carotene. Now the functions of vitamin A. So vitamin A plays a role in a variety of functions throughout the body. So vitamin A is functioning in various organs of our body, so that's why it is very essential for the normal healthy life. Like first one is a vision, the synthesis of rhodopsin. So rhodopsin is one of the receptor in our eyes, and because of the rhodopsin we are able to see in a darkness. Yes, if there is a dark surroundings are there, dark light is there, so in the dark light, in the dark area, we are seeing the things, that is just because of the rhodopsin. And vitamin A is doing the work for the synthesis or the production of the rhodopsin in our eyes. So if there is a less vitamin A in our body, that may lead to the decreased rhodopsin synthesis in our body. If there is a less amount of rhodopsin in the eyes, that may lead to the various kind of vision disorders like xerophthalmia and the night blindness. So for the adequate amount of rhodopsin, we require vitamin A. Next one is the gene transcription. So to transfer gene from one generation to another generation, for the transcription of the genes also we require vitamin A. It is also functioning for the immune function. So sufficient amount of vitamin A will help to boost the immunity system. And if there is a boosting or strengthen immunity system, that will able to fight against the various kind of infections. Vitamin A is necessary for embryonic development and the reproduction. So, for the development of the embryo inside the mother's womb, we require the vitamin A, as well as for the normal reproductive functions, we require vitamin A. Then bone metabolism. Okay, so for the metabolism of the bone, for the conservation of the calcium and phosphorus in the bone, we require vitamin A. Next one is the hematopoiesis functions, like the production of the blood cells and the platelet. Okay, so for the normal production and the synthesis of the blood cells as well as the platelets, our body have the sufficient amount of vitamin A. If we are failed to have the adequate amount of vitamin A, that may lead to the anemia also, because there is a no development of the red blood cells and the platelets, and because of that reason our body leads to the deficiency of RBCs and the platelets. Moreover, it is also required for the skin and cellular health. For healthy glowing skin and for the normal cellular health, our body require vitamin A, and it is also having the antioxidant activity in itself. Here is the deficiency of vitamin A. So if you are not taking adequate amount of vitamin A, that may lead to the deficiency. So the vitamin A is mainly required for the normal vision. Okay, so if there is a deficiency of vitamin A in your body, that may affect your vision. So first deficiency caused by deficiency of vitamin A, that is a night blindness. Okay, so why night blindness is there? Because especially in the night the surroundings are become dark. Okay, and vitamin A is necessary for the synthesis of the rhodopsin, and rhodopsin is necessary to visualize the things in a darkness in the night vision. Okay, so if in your body there is a less amount of vitamin A, that may lead to less production of rhodopsin. If there is a less amount of rhodopsin in your eyes, that may lead to the night blindness. You will not able to see in a dark areas. Next one is the xerophthalmia. Xerophthalmia, that means dryness of eyes. The eyes ability to produce tear is diminished, and that is known as the dryness of eyes, the xerophthalmia. Next one is a Bitot spot. Okay, so Bitot spot is one kind of triangular white color dry patch in your eyes, and that may affect your peripheral visions. So these all are the three conditions are related to the vision, or we can say related to the eyes. So you can see the difference. Vitamin A is very necessary for the normal eyes, or we can say normal vision. Another thing occur because of the deficiency of vitamin A, that is the dry skin and the dry hair, because vitamin A is also necessary for the skin and for the cellular health. If there is a deficiency of vitamin A, there will be a less skin and cellular health, and because of that reason they leads to dry skin and the dry hair. The other deficiency you can see in the picture, like throat and chest infections, because the function of vitamin A to boost the immunity system. So if there is a less amount of vitamin A in your body, that may lead to diminished immunity system in your body. So if your immune system is weak, you may have more chances to get the various kind of infections. So because there is a less amount of vitamin A, person's chances of having infection is increased, like throat infections and the chest infections. Moreover, the person may having the dry skin, dry eyes, that is known as a xerophthalmia. Night blindness because of inadequate amount of rhodopsin. Infertility and trouble in a conceiving, because we have seen in the functions for development of embryo in the uterus as well as for the reproductive functions, our body require vitamin A. So if there is a less vitamin A in the body, that may leads to inability to conceive the pregnancy as well as it may leads to the infertility. Next is a poor wound healing. Okay, so there is a less platelets or less red blood cells in the body, that may leads to the poor wound healing. Acne and breakouts. So we have discussed that vitamin A is necessary for the normal health of skin as well as for the normal cellular health. So if there is a less vitamin A, that may lead to the various disease related to the integumentary systems like acne and the breakouts and cuts in the skin. And delayed growth. So in the early period of time, if there is a deficiency of vitamin A in the body, that may lead to the retarded growth in the children. So these all are the deficiency of vitamin A. Next is vitamin D. So the human can produce vitamin D from cholesterol present in the skin. Okay, so the synthesis of the vitamin D is occur in the body. Why? Just because of the cholesterol present in the skin. So cholesterol is one type of fat, and fat is stored in the adipose tissue, or we can say beneath the layer of skin. Okay, so whenever our body is exposed to the sunlight, okay, whenever we are going outside and we are exposing to the sunlight, whatever fat is there beneath the layer of our skin, that is a cholesterol, and there will be a burning of cholesterol, there will be a reaction of the sunlight with the cholesterol, and this is making the vitamin D in the body. This conversion is depends on exposure of the skin to UV rays in the sunlight and yield inactive provitamin D. Okay, so whenever you are going outside and coming in a contact with the sunlight, so there will be an exposure of sunlight, and in the sunlight there will be a presence of UV rays, that means ultraviolet rays are present in the sunlight. So when these ultraviolet rays are touching your skin, so there will be a synthesification of the provitamin D. Okay, so from the cholesterol beneath the layer of skin, it is coming in a contact with the ultraviolet rays. After that, there will be a production of the inactive form of vitamin D. Yield, that means provide. So this conversion is providing inactive provitamin D. Now next what happens? Vitamin D is formed in the skin, transported through the bloodstream to the liver where they are stored. Okay, so this vitamin D is formed in the skin when the skin is coming in a contact with ultraviolet rays of the sunlight. So it is formed, it is produced in the skin. From the skin it is transported in the bloodstream, and from the bloodstream it is transported in the liver, and in the liver it is stored. When body requires vitamin D, some of provitamin D is transported to kidneys and converted into active vitamin D. Okay, so the stored vitamin D is in the liver, and that is in a proactive form. So whenever our body require vitamin D, that provitamin D is transported into the kidneys, and from in kidneys it is converted into active vitamin D. So this is the whole phenomena, or we can say the mechanism of action of vitamin D in the body. Whenever you are going in exposure to the sunlight, in the sunlight there will be a presence of ultraviolet rays, and because of that reason the cholesterol, the fat beneath the layer of your skin, is converted into inactive form of provitamin D. Now this provitamin D is formed in the skin, that will enter into the bloodstream, and from the blood it will reach to the liver, and in the liver this provitamin D is stored. Whenever your body requires the vitamin D from the liver, it will go or transported into the kidneys, and in the kidneys this provitamin D is converted into the vitamin D. Okay, so this is the whole mechanism of action of vitamin D. Vitamin D refers to group of fat soluble sacchosteroids, a type of steroid with a broken rings, found in liver and in the fish oils, or obtained by irradiating provitamin D with UV light, and are responsible for enhancing intestinal absorption of calcium, iron, magnesium, phosphate and the zinc. Okay, so vitamin D is what? It is a fat soluble sacchosteroids. Why it is known as a sacchosteroids? Because vitamin D, it type of a steroid, is having the broken rings. So in the chemical structure of vitamin D, there will be a broken rings, and because of that broken rings, it is known as a sacchosteroids. So it is a fat soluble sacchosteroids. Generally vitamin D is found in the liver, in the fish oils, and the provitamin D we are getting from the ultraviolet light, that is from the sunlight. Now why vitamin D is required in our body? So vitamin D is responsible for the absorption of the calcium, iron, magnesium, phosphate and the zinc. For the absorption of such minerals, our body requires adequate amount of vitamin D. Moreover, vitamin D is also known as a sunshine vitamin, because a major amount of this vitamin we are getting from the sunlight, and because of that reason it is known as a sunshine vitamin. There are two forms of vitamin D: cholecalciferol, that is vitamin D3, and the calciferol, that is D2. So cholecalciferol is made from 7-dehydrocholesterol in the skin of animals and the humans. Okay, so the cholecalciferol is made of a 7-dehydrocholesterol which is present in the skin, whereas the calciferol is obtained artificially by irradiation of ergosterol and is called the ergocalciferols. And calciferol is found because of the irradiation or artificial processes, and moreover it is also known as the ergocalciferol. So there are two types or two forms of vitamin D: cholecalciferol, that is vitamin D3, and calciferol, that is vitamin D2. Now the dietary sources of vitamin D. So the major portion of vitamin D is we are getting from the sunlight, from the UV rays. Yes, so the body makes vitamin D when it is exposed to ultraviolet rays from the sun. And the food sources of vitamin D are cheese, margarine, that means butter, fortified milk, healthy cereals and the fatty fish. So fortified milk, that means fortified milk with the vitamin D substances. So these all are the food sources of vitamin D. Now what is the daily requirement of the vitamin D? So adult men and women should take 0.01 mg of vitamin D. Pregnant woman and the lactational mother should take 0.01 microgram of vitamin D, and the infants and children should also require 0.01 mg of vitamin D. Now functions of vitamin D. So vitamin D is required for the calcium balance. Okay, for the absorption of calcium in the intestinal walls as well as in the bones, we require adequate amount of vitamin D. If there is a less vitamin D, that may lead to certain kind of bones disorders, because we all know very well, for having the stronger bone we require calcium. But if there is a less vitamin D in your body, that may lead to less calcium absorption and may lead to the various kind of bone disease. So calcium balance is required in our body, and that is maintained by the vitamin D. Next is a cell differentiation. So as we all know that there are different kind of cells. Our body is made up of various cells. So to differentiate each cell from one and all, we require vitamin D. Next is for the immunity. To have the stronger immune system, we require vitamin D. Next is the blood pressure regulation. Then development of bones and teeth. So to having the normal or strengthened bones and teeth, our body require vitamin D, and it will able to regulate the amount of phosphorus. Okay, so it is required for the regulation of the normal ratio of phosphorus in the body. Now deficiency of vitamin D. So vitamin D is necessary for the bone health. If there is a deficiency of vitamin D in the body, that may lead to the disease of bones. So first you can see in the picture bone softening. So faulty process of bone mineralization and deficient or impaired metabolism of vitamin D, phosphate and calcium may lead to the bone become soft. And because the deficiency of vitamin D, there are two types of disease occur. First one is the rickets, that specially occur in the children's, and next one is the osteomalacia, that is occur in the adults. So these two are the bone disorders. And these occur because of the deficiency of vitamin D. So first we will see deficiency of vitamin D in the children's. Okay, so mineralization of bones and teeth. So vitamin D is required for the mineralization of bones and teeth, especially it is bones and teeth are made up of a calcium and the phosphorus. But because there will be a demineralization of bones and teeth, it may lead to the disease in the children. And the name of the disease is the rickets. Okay, so what is the rickets? Rickets is a faulty calcification of bones causing bones remain the soft. Okay, so faulty calcification of bones, that means bones are made up of the calcium and the phosphorus, but because of the demineralization of bones, there will be a faulty calcification of bones, and because there is a less amount of calcium and phosphorus in the bone, the bones are become very soft. The weight of child's body cause deformed bone development, including the bowed legs. Okay, so bones are very soft and they are weaker. Okay, so because of that reason, the whole weight of the child is come in the bones of the baby. Okay, so lower extremities are having the so much weight of the children's weight. So because of that reason, the legs are become bow-like structure. So you can see in the picture, this is a bow-like structure. Generally, the legs are in a straight form. Yes, but because there is a deficiency of vitamin D, the bones are become soft. Because of that reason, it is come in a bow-like structure. The legs are curved in this shape. Here also you can see the picture of baby with the rickets. So you can see the legs, it is bow-like structure. The legs are not straight. It is bended. Okay, so and here also, here are the normal bones and the rickets bone. So normal bones are straight in the structure. Yes, but you can see the bones of ricket child, it is a bowed, it is bended. Why it is bended? Because of the weight of the child. It is bended. And you can see the structure over here. You can see here there is a proper mineralization. there is a no faulty calcification of the bones, but you can see here the small pores are available, that is softening of the bone because of the faulty calcification. Here there is a not proper amount of calcium and phosphorus in the bone. In the normal bone there is a proper calcium and phosphorus in the bones. So this is the deficiency of vitamin D in the children, that is rickets. And in the adults, the deficiency of vitamin may leads to the osteomalacia. What is that? In this disease, calcium and phosphorus stored in the bones are withdrawn, causing the bones to become soft, porous and weak. So what happens in the osteomalacia? It is generally occurring in the adult people, especially the women. And in this, what happens? Whatever calcium and phosphorus are stored in the bones, that are withdrawn from the bones, that all are removed from the bones. And because there is a less calcium and phosphorus in the bones, bones are become very soft, porous and the weak. Porous, that means you can see in the picture, porous, that means there are small holes are become in the bones. So that is a porous bones. Bone fractures are most common in the people with the osteomalacia. So just because the bones are become soft, porous, there is a hole like structure occur in the bones. Because of all these reasons, they are most prone to get the bone fractures in the person with the osteomalacia. So this is the deficiency of vitamin D in the adult, that is the osteomalacia. There are two deficiencies seen in children, that is the rickets, and in the adult, that is the osteomalacia. In next lecture, we will see about the vitamin E.